everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah and I like to ramble about books. Today's video is going to hopefully be a short and sweet one. It's just a collective book haul. So these are all the books. I'm pretty sure I accumulated these all throughout the month of November. Target had their buy two get one free sale, and I hate to admit that I hit up that sale multiple times. Let's just jump right in. So this first stack was probably the first book shopping trip I did in the month of November. Me and my best friend are both readers, so we do have a Barnes & Noble semi nearby. It is like over an hour away, so it's like a special trip for us if we go. And we just had the urge to go shopping. There's a couple other stores out that way that we don't have around here too, so it's always a fun trip. So on that trip, I actually only got one book there, and it was kind of a disappointing trip, to be honest. I picked up Misery by Stephen King. I have read some of Stephen King's stuff. I'm not like a super fan. I'm not planning on reading his entire backlist, but I do at least want to hit the more popular ones, especially the ones that are intriguing to me. Obviously that's important. So Misery is one that is on my list that I really do want to read. Also, these covers I've been seeing throughout many stores like Sam's and Target and everywhere, and I love them, and I decided I'm probably just gonna start buying them one by one because I didn't want to spend a ton of money on the few that I want. So I decided to start with this one because I haven't read this. The premise is so interesting. I've never even watched the movie. I've seen bits and pieces, so I at least know the gist of what it's about, but we have an author who gets into a car accident and he gets rescued. We're in this remote area. Luckily, the person who rescues him is a nurse. Unfortunately, she's like a super fan, and she finds his manuscript for his next book, and he's killing off one of her favorite characters, I believe, and she is very upset about that. So it's Stephen King, obviously chaos ensues, and just sounds like a really interesting, like isolated read with the remote setting and everything. So very interested. This is one of the classics by him, so I'm definitely intrigued, and I feel like this will be a really good wintertime read, honestly, with the setting, because he's like snowed in and that's why he got in an accident. So super excited about that. Since we both agreed that our trip was kind of underwhelming, we hopped back over to our town and we hit up Target because that's when the 2-for-1 sale, or buy two get one free sale, was starting. So first round I picked up Fearful by Lauren Roberts. This is a novella in the Powerless trilogy. So I have read Powerless, Powerful, and Reckless so far. I liked Powerless, I loved Powerful, and I didn't really like Reckless. I do want to finish the trilogy because in the main series I only have one more book left and this novella. So I've heard a lot of mixed things about Fearless, but I'm gonna give it a shot. We're gonna see where we end up. And I loved Powerful. I'm pretty sure I gave that 5 stars, which that's really hard for a novella, but it was amazing. Like, it was so moving. I loved the characters, and even though the story was so short, like, I felt such a connection to them. So I'm hoping, even if Fearless lets me down, I'm hoping at least Fearful will redeem it. So we'll see. I'm not gonna hold my breath too much, but I at least have a little bit of hope for it. Next up we have On Wings of Blood by Briar Bolin. This has been on my radar for a while. I've seen a lot of people read this and rate it decently, like probably about 4 stars and up. Some people about 3, but still. I've heard this marketed as very similar to Zodiac Academy vibes. We have vampires, dragons. I don't really know much of the plot, honestly, but again, a lot of books I just like to go in blind for. Like, just give me the vibes. And if a lot of people online have read it that I know our reading tastes align, then that's good enough for me. But just saying that it's similar enough to Zodiac Academy, which is one of my God tier series, is enough for me to buy it. I was just gonna read it on KU, but then they came out with these sprayed edge editions and I just had to have it. They already came out with the second one with the sprayed edge too, but I'm telling myself I cannot buy that until I read this. So this is probably a higher priority on my TBR. And then the last one, I was looking around, I really wasn't sure what I needed for a third book because I was dead set on those two for sure. But it's buy two get one free, you gotta get a third one. So I ended up picking up Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. They had the Target edition at my Target, which I know people are having a hard time finding, so I was kind of thrilled that we had that. I have heard kind of mixed things on this one. This is Devney's first fantasy romantic-y book. And the most criticism I've heard is that it can be a little slow, but I've also heard a lot of people say that they really enjoyed the story regardless of the pacing. So as long as I am entertained through the journey, even if it takes us a while to get there, that is good enough for me. So I have hopes. I've only read one other Devney Perry book, and that was Crossroads, which is like a cowboy romance, which I don't like romance, and she made it enjoyable. So that gives me some hope for this book. It's probably not super top of my radar, but I am pretty sure the second one is supposed to come out next year. So that does give me a little bit of a drive to read this. But that was my first round of shopping. And then, of course, it's November. We're getting into the holiday season. So Book Outlet was having one of their $5.99 fiction sales. So everything is either $5.99 or up. $5.99 or $3.99? I'm pretty sure it's $5.99. Which I'm a sucker for that sale. They have a lot of good books on Book Outlet. I'm pretty sure they probably just get like overstocks of things. And all the books I've gotten from there have been in fine condition. Sometimes they have like a little dot on it somewhere, like a mark that I'm assuming is probably from the retailer or something that they originally came from, but I haven't had any defective copies. The return policy is super great. I had a book, it was a cookbook, and I flipped through it and I realized I didn't like any of the recipes. So I went to return it and they're like, yeah, we refunded you and just keep it and donate it. And I was like, okay. So highly recommend Book Outlet. I'm not sponsored by anyone in this video, but if you guys are on a budget and you're looking for some books, I definitely recommend them. But back to those Stephen King editions, they had a bunch of them on there, and they had the rest of the ones that I wanted, so that was perfect. First up, we have Pet Sematary, which I already have read this, and Pet Sematary is probably one of my favorite Stephen King books. Probably the only other one so far that's on level with this, again, I haven't read much, is I really did enjoy The Outsider by him too, which I don't have a physical of that, but that's one of his newer ones. But Pet Sematary, again, is one of his classics. It takes just a real world fear and brings it to life, and then brings you to this impossible decision. Obviously, our main character has to make this decision. But if you try to put yourself in his shoes, I feel like a lot of people would probably make the same decision he did, even though it was all wrong. So just the premise alone is genius. It's truly horrifying and creepy, and I just love it. So added that to the collection. The other one I got was Cujo. Have not read this one, am interested. I remember a long time ago, I was fairly young, like preteen, teenager, and I tried to watch this movie. It was on one of the cable channels, like AMC or something like that, and I was flipping through. It was partway through the movie, and I ended up flipping off because I was so bored. And I'm hoping that it's just because this book doesn't translate well to a movie in terms of pacing, because from what I remember is you had a mom and her young son trapped in this car, and the scene seemed so long. Maybe it was commercials that made it seem longer, but I don't know. But it just seemed like every time they tried to leave, it looked like, say, the dog would pop out and then they'd be stuck in the car again, and I was so bored. I feel like reading this story will be much more entertaining and getting more of that internal dialogue and more tidbits of information. Hopefully will be more intriguing. So I have hopes for this one. Honestly, this is a real world fear of rabies. Like in America, it's not a huge problem because we vaccinate really well, but it is still a problem here. And in other countries where it's not very well controlled, it's terrifying. So that is a very scary premise. I work in veterinary medicine, so, you know, kind of seeing cases that are similar to this or even cases of rabies, it's pretty scary. And then the last one I picked up with this art style cover is Christine, which this one, again, I have not read, have not seen the movie, know the premise. Basically, we have a car that is somehow sentient and kills people. And that's pretty much all I know. I don't really know much else. What I was not prepared for is how long this book was, because compared to like Cujo, this is like almost twice the size of like Cujo and Pet Sematary and Misery. I'm really hoping that it is intriguing enough to warrant this length. I'm pretty sure it's over 600. It's over 600 pages about a sentient car. So I'm a little scared that I'm gonna get bored. That was my biggest problem with it, because it was so long. I didn't even enjoy it that much, at least the novel. I prefer the movies. Sue me, I don't care. I feel like a lot of people have the same views, honestly. At least on the first part. But anyway, I digress. I'm just, after seeing how big this is, I'm a little scared that I might not make it through the whole thing. But we'll see. Maybe the way he has written it will keep me hooked the whole time. So that was my little mini Book Outlet haul. Next round is going to be the second time I hit up the Target sale during this sale. That went on for weeks, mind you. Like, I didn't do this all in the period of the 1 week. It was spread out at least. But I had an event after work. I didn't have enough time to go home, but I had time to kill before I had to go to this event. So naturally I went to Target and just walked around and browsed, and I ended up in the book section and I bought 3 more books. So first up, one that I was really intrigued by is Servant of Earth by Sarah Hawley. And this is a new romantasy series. I believe the second one just came out, but I think it was Bailey who I was watching a video for was doing one of her reading wrap-ups, and she was talking about this book and the second book and said how amazing they were. And I feel like our reading tastes line up a lot. Like, a lot of the books she recommends I've either read and loved, or I end up picking up and end up loving. So that was enough for me to get this. I haven't even read on the back what it's about. I'm pretty sure it's Fae, but again, I really like to go in blind half the time. Just, I find it's more fun. And based on what she said and the vibes and her reading taste aligning with mine, I feel like this is hopefully going to be a slam dunk. And then I was like, well, the sale's still going on. Let's see if I can find any more books. So I picked up 2 dark romance novels. I feel like I haven't read much dark romance this year. And it makes me kind of sad because I do really enjoy dark romance as long as it's done well. Everyone has their specific things they like. Personally, me, I don't know what it says about me, but I really enjoy the stalker romance subgenre. This first one I'm picking up is called Bad Bishop by, stickers covering part of her name, LJ Shen. This one apparently is a mafia romance, age gap, which as long as age gap is done well, I enjoy it. And mafia, I don't know, I feel like I haven't read too much mafia romance. I feel like that's like the dominant subgenre of dark romance, but I don't really feel like I've read a ton of it. The only one that's really standing out in my mind is Promises of Pomegranates that I tried to read years ago, and I DNF'd that book like not even 10% in because it was so bad. So I'm hoping it was just that book. I feel like it may have put a little bit of bad taste in my mouth when it comes to mafia dark romance, but we're gonna try it. This one sounded really intriguing. Also, this has beautiful edges, even for a paperback, and it has really pretty artwork on the inside of the cover. These ones I did read because unfortunately part of these books is romance, and romance can have a lot of tropes that irritate me. So I do read the blurbs at least on my dark romances to make sure it's something I'm at least going to be interested in. So it says, he's deathless, she's trying to find a reason to live. So we're following Lila. And it says, my innocence was ripped from me one fatal night under the starless sky, resulting in an unwanted teenage pregnancy and a secret the Camorra must bury. My father decided to hand me off to the highest bidder, the lucky winner, Tiernan Callahan, psychopath extraordinaire. The Irish mafia prince wants me for all the wrong reasons: alliance, money, prestige, war. I am but a pawn in his twisted game. The man who sits on a throne of his enemies' skulls thinks I'm a weakling. Little does he know, in this chess game, the underdog wins, because the thing about bad bishops, they protect good pawns. Honestly, I really do like the little chess theme too. I think that's adorable. I don't play too much anymore, but at one point, me and my husband, when we started dating, he taught me how to play chess, and we kind of got into virtual chess a bit, so I do really like that as well. But anyway, it sounds intriguing. I'm hopeful that I'm gonna like it. Also, I'm a sucker for anything with the skull on the cover. Anyway, let's just move on to the next book. That one is Dear Reader by Tate James. This one I feel like I saw Larry read, because I feel like this is part of a duology, I want to say. And I know at least she rated the first one pretty highly. I don't remember the second one. But also really cute sprayed edges. This one says, Dear Reader, you want my advice? Never look a gift horse in the mouth. That way you don't see the rotten teeth. In this case, the gift was a scholarship to attend a prestigious Nevaeh University. The rotten teeth, well, they came in the form of my brand new stepbrother and his little cohort of entitled, arrogant best friends. 4 dangerously handsome and stupidly wealthy men who made up their minds about me long before we met. Men who are used to getting everything they want no matter what the price. I was a big girl, I could ignore them. Then came the secret society, hazing, kidnappings, wild parties, foolish stunts. Even so, I could handle myself, until the secret and stolen moments with men I had no business falling for. It was enough to give a girl nightmares. Because, dear reader, this was only the beginning of my ordeal with the Devil's Backbone Society. How do I know? I read about it. So, secret society? Maybe a Wide Shoes? I don't know. I'm not really a big Wide Shoes fan, but honestly, the Ruthless Boy series by Caroline Peckham and Susan Valenti, they completely changed my mind, or at least my opinion on why choose. So I do like it if it's done well. If it's executed in a way that they did it, I will probably like it. I don't even know for certain if this is why choose though, so we'll see, but I am intrigued. Okay, and so you're thinking, wow, that must be it, right? No, I tell you, sometimes I get on these kicks and I really have a problem. And I feel like I can go months without buying a book, and then all of a sudden when it breaks, I break hard and I just go nuts. So this is the last stack we're gonna go through, but this one was very much an impulse buy, and it's because a new book was being released that I was very excited for, and I completely forgot about it, and I hadn't made a pre-order at all, so I kind of panic ordered this late at night at Target for pickup because there was a special edition I really wanted, and I was so scared that if I waited it was gonna be gone. And then of course the sale was still going on, so I was like, maybe there's something else I can pick up, because again, I have a problem. But the book that started it all is Hollow by Caroline Peckham and Susan Valenti, talking about them. This edition, guys, is so stunning. I'm pretty sure, yeah, the naked is plain, unfortunately, but the end pages have gorgeous art, the dragon on the edge, and yeah, it looks like different art on that side. So I'm so happy I was able to snag one of these, and I don't regret it, not one bit. I kind of want to try to read this before the end of the year, but I'm not sure if I'm going to get it, and if I don't, we'll just push it to next year. This one, I'm going to go in mostly blind. I love these authors. Everything I've read pretty much by them I've enjoyed, so I have high hopes, and hopefully I can live up to them. But anyway, as I said, the sale was still going on, so I was like, well, let's see what else is available. So I also ended up with The Wolf King by Lauren, oh my god, I'm gonna pronounce her name so wrong, Palferman? That's what we're going with, because I don't think I could replicate that. So this is another stunning hardcover edition. Again, sprayed edges. This one, the naked has some foiling on it. The end papers aren't crazy, it's just kind of plain, but I believe I saw Laura and Emmy talking about this on their channels, and they enjoyed it, and they were talking about, I think this is a trilogy. I'm pretty sure the first 2 books are out already. And again, people that I have reading tastes that align with liked it online, recommended it, good enough for me. And I'm pretty much just gonna go in blind. So that's all I have to say on that one. And the last book of this haul, I'm actually really excited about this because I didn't even know this was coming out in this edition. This is another book that's on KU, and I was planning on just reading it then, and if I enjoyed it, buying the physicals. But then when I was scrolling through the books to get my 3rd book, I saw this on the website, and that is The Book of Azrael by, oh god, again, these stickers, poor placement, I can't read author names, Amber V. Nicole. So this is the first book in the Gods and Monsters series. I think there's 4. I'm pretty sure the last one just came out. So that's probably why they came out with this special edition release of the first one. I'm not sure if any of the other books are going to come out like this. I wish, because this is gorgeous. I think originally these all came out in paperback. I think they're even indie published, but I don't know for certain. So hardback, really gorgeous edges again. Beautiful artwork. Also there's a dragon, so I'm sold. And like the naked is gorgeous too. It's a different texture than like all the other hardcovers, like it's shiny and smooth. So that's pretty interesting as well. I think, oh yeah, other end pages also have different artwork. So I have heard, again, really great things about this series. I want to say this is an urban fantasy, but I can't quite remember because I feel like I get this one and City of Gods and Monsters series confused, which I haven't read that one either, and I do want to. So anyway, Sucker, it's beautiful. And it is now a completed series, so if I want to binge it, I can, which is great because I'm pretty sure they are all on KU. I don't know about the last one for sure, so that might be a lie. But anyway, that's everything for this unintentionally massive collective book haul. Let me know if you've read any of these books, if you are planning on reading any of these books, and what your thoughts are. I'm honestly very excited. I think the only one I'm not, there's probably 2 I'm not the most excited for, and that's Christine, because that length really does scare me, and Shield of Sparrows. It's just not super high priority for me. But overall, I think we have some really good picks here. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and keep me posted on any videos you're interested in seeing. I'm hoping to try to get in more reading vlogs because I did really enjoy doing that last video I did. I just need to think of some more ideas. Unless you guys are fine with just following me through the week, and I can do that too. Sometimes I find when there's like a bit of a challenge or something, it's a little more intriguing. But anyway, I think I can stop rambling for tonight, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.